fight after the fight, which is going to be right here. Xbalanque and Thoth in the backline. I'm going to go for that Blink ultimate. I'm going to follow up with the Root, which should be able to grab the kill right as he lands. Thoth uses his beads, so I'm going to go ahead and mez him. Hello everybody, we are here with your Kumbhakarna support guides. We're going to be starting up by grabbing our Sentinel's gift. I like right now the tier 1 on these extra supporty boys standardly going into the Thebes and or Mail of Renewal, depending on how the game is going, and then grabbing myself a Chalice of Healing. This is my pretty standard support start right now, as well as grabbing a Shell. We're definitely going to want a Blink later on the Kumbhakarna for our initiations, but for here in the early game, the Shell really helps in the laning phase. So at level 1, we actually have two options for the ability that we get. You can either get the Throwback or the Groggy Strike. It's really not that big of a deal either way, because they're going to do about the same amount of damage. So I'm just going to grab the Groggy Strike to have the extra CC here on the purple buff, and we're going to get it right on started. An enemy has left the game. After our Root, we're going to get our 1 as our second ability, and we're going to have a little bit of extra information to touch on with the 1, because there's something that people always forget about with Kumbhakarna's 1. So we're going to show you how you can really use this ability proper and to be hitting it more often from some funky angles. Kumbhakarna is a team fight oriented support. As far as his early game goes, it's okay. One of his biggest problems on Kumbhakarna with his early game is that his movement ability is also his best form of clear, and that is problematic. So with his best form of clear coming on his 1, it means that this is traditionally the ability that we are going to level first. It's going to be our lane clear. It's going to be our main source of damage. But we do have to be careful in the laning phase traditionally, because if you're going against a very, very aggressive lane, if you're going against a Ymir Danzaburou lane, and they're going to have a whole lot of damage, you need to be careful, because if you use your belly bump to get in, then all of a sudden you are going to be out of position. So you just need to be careful on that front. At level 3, we're going to grab our Mez. This is going to be the ability that we're maxing out third. So we grab point in our 1, 2, 3, so we have all of our CCs. And then we'll get our ulti at level 5. So our level order on Kumbhakarna is going to be 4, 1, 3, 2 to max. 4, 1, 3, 2. 4 and 1 for the damage that it provides. Then the 3, because this is going to increase the Mez duration as well as the CC duration of the slow. And then finally ranking up our 2, because the 2 is going to give us that additional damage, but it does not scale up the Root at all. So that is why we level up the Mez before the 2. We get the extra CC from the 3. We do not get extra CC from our Groggy Strike. Groggy Strike, though, is one of the best early game, particularly CCs in the game, because it is a 2-second root. And roots do not have any DR in Smite. So for those that don't know what DR is, it's diminishing returns. In Smite, when you get hit by a CC, future CCs against you will not last as long. Roots apply DR. In other words, if you root somebody and then I were to mez them, the mez would be a shorter duration. So let's say this mez is a 1-second duration right now. So if I root the Xbalanque hit him with that max duration root, and then mez him. The mez is actually only going to be about 0.66 seconds long. He's going to have 33% DR on him, but if I hit him with the mez first and get the 1 second mez and then the root, I'm still going to get the full 2 seconds of root. So roots apply DR, but are not affected by it. Same goes for knockups and banishes. Both are affected by DR, but not, or excuse me, both contribute to DR, but are not affected by it. So I'm gonna back up right here. I'm gonna go get my boots on Kumbhakarna. I always get myself shoes of focus. I think cooldown on Kumbhakarna is what actually makes him extremely strong. So if you're not buying cooldown on Kumbhakarna, there's kind of no point to play him. I almost never get any of the other boots on Kumbhakarna, strictly because I do want to get my cooldown up as fast as humanly possible. Because of this, I also always get Pridvin as well. Pridvin and Kumbhakarna, he already has a fairly low cooldown ultimate. So when you combine the CDR and the Pridvin onto Kumbha, you're going to be able to get that Pridvin proc, that effect, every single time that Pridvin comes up, because your ulti and Pridvin cooldowns will be about the same-ish cooldown. So we're going to try to get a lot of protection value out of our first item, which is why I like to go the Thebes when possible, because you get so much protection value out of it. So when you combine that plus the Thebes, you get better shield value, all that sort of good stuff. And then I usually grab the Mail of Renewal later on anyway. So I'm going to go into the Thebes, then we'll get the Pridvin, and then we'll get the Mail of Renewal. So much defense, so much HP, so much cooldown. And because we got the cooldown boots early, we'll also have a decent amount of mana. So one thing you need to know about Kumbhakarna, probably his most complicated thing, is how to properly utilize the one. The one on Kumbhakarna is a directional throw of a minion. That's how it does damage. But a lot of people don't know that you can actually change the direction that you're looking in order to launch the minion. So the direction that you're looking at the start of this ability is not relevant. It does not matter which way I am looking when I start the one. All that matters is where I'm looking when I end the one. So here's an example. I'm dashing this way, but I'm going to turn and look to the right, and it's going to launch the minion into the other minions.
Enemy missing left.
So you can turn that camera angle while you're in the Kumbhakarna one. I'm going to ulti for this Thanatos, because I know that he does not have his ultimate up. Unfortunately, me and Janice not quite on the same page right there, and so he ultis before my ultimate. So make sure when you're using the Kumbhakarna 1 that you're twisting and turning your camera angle to be wherever you're going to need it.
Enemy missing.
It's gonna help you out a lot on those belly bumps. Kumbhakarna is way better this way. It's just one of those small mechanics that a lot of people tend to not know about. So you have to just kind of get used to it. But it really helps you throw minions at people too without them knowing that you're going to hit them. Big part of Smite is not looking at people, you know, right before you throw an ability onto them. So you can use that a lot to twist and turn and kind of grab that last hit, because they're like, oh, he won't be able to hit me from this angle. And then you hit him with the pa-pow, and you're looking right at him, and you give him the slap down. For our standard combination on Kumbhakarna, once we have our blink, we're going to be using our blink for initiation, because that will be our second active. But until then, we're just trying to get in range of our 2 for our root. We start off by rooting people, see if we can't force their beads. If they beads, cool beans, that's already a win, just getting those beads down. If they don't beads, traditionally we're going to follow up with our ultimate, get it set up for the team. Once we get it set up for the team, then we can try to follow up with the damage at the end that's going to kill them. So Thanatos blinks in on my Janus right here, so he's gonna have to ulti himself out. I'm just trying to peel for him as much as I can. I'm gonna try to root this guy off of him. Don't know if I'm actually getting yoinked by that or not. It doesn't seem like I am. I'm just gonna go back through these portals in the reverse direction and kind of get out of here. So our jungler this game is a Mercury. I haven't actually seen him a lot right now. So in the mid lane, right, they're using a lot of 3v3 battles. That's kind of what you want to be doing at this point. The mid lane right now is kind of nicknamed the arena lane. That's because there's always so many people here, but you need to be doing a lot of those 3v3 fights in the mid lane. So I'm gonna try to poke this off. See right there, I belly bump the wave straight on, but then I go and I look at Thoth and I get basically a free 250 damage worth of poke on him. So for that combo again, that is 2 to start off with the root. If they don't beat, congrats. Now you can follow up with your ultimate. And then after your ultimate, you can either follow up with the Mez if you're just trying to set up your team strictly, or you can follow up with the belly bump if you're gonna be able to grab that kill. So now I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna get myself a Gauntlet of Thebes. And then after the Gauntlet of Thebes, we're gonna go into that Pridvin for the CDR. And then we're gonna get ourselves a Mail of Renewal. Mail of Renewal, you're gonna see everywhere. There's a good chance that pretty much all supports and a lot of solo laners end up picking up this item. It just gives you a lot of good stats for the money that it costs, and it's a very consistent item. The sustain that you get out of the what is basically a meditation active but on an item just provides so much value for your team.
You're on fire!
Not to mention for yourself. As a support, you're gonna have built a lot of HP, and so you get that giant HP heal on yourself. Especially efficient against, or especially efficient when you don't have necessarily a lot of healing on your team, because they're not gonna be just building anti-heal, right, for against your Mail of Renewals. So there's a good chance that you actually get a lot of heal value out of it as well for yourself and your team. Now, if you do have a bunch of healers on your team, you've got Aphrodites and Hells and Raz and Guan Yu's all mine. The Mail of Renewal does lose some value as your team, you know, has more healers on us. I'm gonna dive in on this. I hit him with the ulti, I follow up with the Mez, and that's gonna let us get the kill. So right there, I get a little bit of poke on him. I throw down the ulti, so my Janus knows that we can go for the kill. And all I had up after that was my Mez. So the second he comes down, I Mez him right in place, and we grab ourselves the kill. For our pairings on Kumbhakarna, we're really looking for a big follow-up ultis. Janus is probably like the smallest of the big follow-up ultis that you want to pair with Kumbhakarna. But Janus is a good god to come to mind. But Ra, Poseidon, Kukulkan, Thoth, all of these characters pair really well with Kumbhakarna. Anybody that you would want a Nezha jungle on your team in order to set you up, exact same concept with Kumbhakarna. One of the easiest setups in the game, very consistent timing, you know exactly where they're gonna land. And so he provides really good setup, particularly for those mid lane mages. That's really where he thrives for setup. For your hunter, it's not quite as important, right? Because they're just trying to auto attack and they can't auto attack them while they're banished. But for those gods that got those channeled big money ults, that's where Kumba finds his home. So I don't really want to ulti right here on this Ares, because then if he ultis me, I'm going to get yoinked into the tower. But I wouldn't mind kind of waiting. It looks like Thana might go for a gank right here, so we're just kind of backing up. I don't mind playing a little bit farther forward here.
Has its advantages.
My ultimate will give me CC immunity, so I just got to be a little bit careful against the Ares, because if he does decide to go for the ulti, and I get yoinked in the tower, then you get Thoth ulted, then you get Thana ulted, etc. But now that he's gone, I can more freely just try to use my ultimate. So one of the nice things about Kumbhakarna is that he doesn't actually have gods that he's super bad against. So I throw out a minion just to make sure I finish that kill. I didn't want to be next to Thoth tanking that tower for any longer than I had to. So after I ulti him, I back up a little bit because I see some minions. And then I utilize those minions for the belly bump in order to finish the kill. Now I'm going to grab myself my Pridvin, a Sentry Ward, and then we're going to start working on that Mail Renewal. So one of the nice things about the Kumbhakarna is that he really doesn't have any hard counters. In the laning phase, the only thing you have to worry about is that his clear isn't the best. It's not bad. I would say he has medium level clear, but for the really high clear supports, you're probably going to get out pushed unless your hunter is way, way better at clearing than their hunter is. So be a little bit careful in the laning phase, but the second you get out of that like first 5 minutes of laning phase, you really start to come online. I'm gonna mez these guys off. I'm gonna use my blink to get in range. I'm gonna pop my root, try to turn around, root off people. Ultimate's up in 1 second, so I can use that if the Ares is gonna go for the ulti. So I'm gonna ulti right here at the end and try to peel the guys off of the Pele again. Unfortunately, not quite gonna be able to peel enough right there. Tried to use all of my abilities to peel off for him, but it wasn't quite enough. Now I see that my Mercury wants to come down this lane. So I'm going to try to root this Bellona, not going to get it, so I'm going to go for the mez on both of these guys anyway. Now, Mercury does need to be careful here. This is way too aggressive. After that ulti, where he grabbed the Bellona beads, we probably should have just called that a win. Because we knew that they had at least 3 people there. They actually have 4 people here. And so we needed to just go ahead and back right up off of that. Kumbhakarna does start to thrive, though, once you get into the team fights. There's an argument to be made that Kumbhakarna is one of the best peelers in the entire game of Smite. A lot of times when people think of gods that can peel for squishies, you think Geb and Khepri. And to be fair, they have a lot of peel because they've got that like one ability that really lets them help out their team. But Kumbhakarna, with his low cooldowns, he has the root, he has the mez, he has the banish. He may have the singular best peel in the game in the right situations. So I need to back up really quick. I'm going to rank up the shell so we can get those block stacks going. Block stacks on shell still make it the best active in the game. Ask any professional assassin player, any jungler, how they feel about shell, and they'll let you know how bad it absolutely ruins their life right now. So our job in these team fights is going to be initiation, then peeling. So if you look at our composition, we have an extremely damage heavy comp. Pele solo, Merc jungle, Neath Janus. So I'm really our only frontline. Our Pele is probably going to be a little hybrid. He is hybrid. You see he's got the Soul Eater and the Shifter Shield. So he's not entirely squishy or anything. I'm going to go put a Sentry Ward over on this Gold Fury for the vision because it's getting about objective o'clock. So I'm going to need to be both the frontliner this game, and I'm also going to have to peel into the back line. So I'm going to blink in, probably initiate with my mez or my ultimate. Traditionally on Kumba, you would go for the blink ulti just to get it off immediately so they can't beads it. But sometimes you want to mix it up on Kumba, and instead of going for the blink ulti like everybody would expect, you go for the blink mez, because then if they end up using their beads on the mez, it's only on a 12-second cooldown, and that's a horrible, horrible trade for them. So it can be worth it to mix it up just for the value of grabbing some of those beads. But after I go in for the blink mez or the blink ulti, I'm going to immediately peel back to my backline and try to see who I can keep alive. This game right now, my main target to keep alive is probably going to be my Neath. He's level 18. He is the biggest on the team, and so he's going to be my priority target to try and keep alive. After Neath, my next priority target is probably going to be the Yanis. The Mercury and the Pele should be pretty far up with each other into the enemy backline, and so they're going to have to kind of rely on each other, whereas the Neath and the Janus are going to be more reliant on me. Shibalanke has dashed into the jungle. I'm going to stick over on this side just in case he tries to like juke back into the lane. But at this point, he might have already backed in time, and there's a huge wave. I want to make sure we don't miss out on any XP. We see the Shibalanke over in the jungle again, so I'm going to come back and try to help out. But the team should probably be able to take care of that one without me. So I'm gonna try to think about the fight after the fight, which is gonna be right here. Shibalanke and Thoth in the backline. I'm gonna go for that Blink ultimate. I'm gonna follow up with the Root, which should be able to grab the kill right as he lands. Thoth uses his beads, so I'm gonna go ahead and mez him, trying to keep this damage off my team as long as I can. Thoth has no beads. There's a Bellona back here. I do have the shell. Now it's my job to try to keep my Neath alive after that fight had already started up. I know the Ares does not have his ulti because I watched him use it. So I'm just going to try to keep the pressure over here, preferably on the Thoth. I'm going to mez this Ares. Going to give my Neath an opportunity to follow up with some autos. Keep playing aggressive on this. Turn around and root the Bellona after I realized I could not reach the Thoth anymore. I still do want to go aggressive on this, but I need to make sure I don't get hit by the Thoth ult, but I do. So now I need to be way more careful. So I'm going to have to pop my shell right there, try to run away, use my root defensively, and I'm still going to be able to get out of there. So I was going to go get a Mail of Renewal, but I can finish my starter item. So I'm going to get the Sentinel's Embrace for my team, and now I'm going to continue working into that Mail of Renewal. Sentinel's Embrace, it's just too good not to get. You get the health, you get the protections, you give all those protections out to your team, you combine that with the Thieves, all of a sudden your team is like pretty dang tanky just for you being around.
Enemy missing.
I'm gonna go put the Sentry Ward out over by the Fire Giant, because it looks like they're gonna try to get set up over there. Looks like they're going for some peel. They could be on the Pyromancer. They are on the Pyro. Just gonna use my root, try to put some pressure on. Now they've got all 5 people here. I can actually probably kite them around for a decent amount of time. So I'm gonna try to bait over here. I'm gonna use my Mez. I'm gonna try to get in range of the Thanatos. He has to ulti out. I'm gonna ulti onto the Thoth because I know he has no beads. Now we have forced his Aegis. Gonna peel back just a little bit. Use these Janus portals to try to get back to the back line. I know that Thoth does not have his dash up anymore. I'm just gonna look for the Ares because he's the first target right here in front of me. It's right by the Neath, so hopefully I can keep her alive while I'm doing this. My Neath actually backflips aggressively in and kind of jukes me right there. But now I'm just trying to peel from him. I'm gonna Mez right on top of his Bellona. Reminder that Kumbhakarna Mez isn't just a Mez, it's also an attack speed slow. Gonna go ahead and root the Bellona, but I need to try to make sure the Thoth is a little bit zoned out here. Great play from the Neath. And we grab ourselves yet another kill. Mezzing on the Bellona, slow him down. So not only is that, I'm gonna start tanking this immediately. I'm gonna run into range to make sure that my Neath is not tanking the tower. She's running out this way. And I'm gonna continue to follow him. So right there, I ran into the tower on purpose because I knew that me and her were gonna get yoinked right into the tower range. And if the Neath would have been taking the tower, then she would have died. And we don't want that. Not for our carry, no we do not. Now we should probably go straight for the Fire Giant right here. I can still tank it, even though I'm low because I've still got my passive up. So if I go down, who cares? I just go right into my passive, not that big of a deal. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like, okay, there we go. Now we're getting some of our people over here. Bada bing, bada boom. So just one more thing about that Mez, because we've kind of mentioned it a couple times, but this is also a slow and an attack speed reduction. So you can use it offensively. It is more than just a Mez. Thanatos looks like he's gonna be in the air for me. If he tries to land on me, I'm gonna try to blink counter it. Watching him on the minimap, he doesn't go for me. He backs up off of that ward. Now we can back up and we're gonna go shove out left lane. Gonna get that Mail of Renewal for the sustain for my team. And for my final item this game, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and throw myself into a Stone of Foul. Stone of Foul, more of a selfish item, but it's just so good. It's gonna give you upwards of 12% mitigations. Plus, it gives you all of this HP and magical protections, which scale so well with our build. Another great item here on Kumbhakarna is going to be a Spirit Robe. Spirit Robe will put you at that full 40% CDR, which is also extremely nice for the Kumbhakarna, and you still get the mitigations in the same way. Now we're going to be shoving over in left lane for 2 reasons. One, there's a tier 2 tower up. Tier 2 tower means gold. Killing a tier 2 tower means a squishier Titan. It also is the farthest lane away from Fire Giant, and of course we always want to press the farthest lane away from Fire Giant, because that way if we don't end the game, when the fire minions are spawning down the lane, they'll be pushing in the lane farthest away, which is the hardest to defend. So right now I'm just going to tank this Phoenix for my team. I see that we have gotten Thoughtful on our Yanis, so we just need to be a little bit careful. That's all right. I would like to look for a blink ult initiation, but I also have to make sure that I'm not going in too far. If I go in too far, my team might not be able to follow up. But I'm just looking for a blink ultimate onto a squishy. Doesn't really matter who it is. So I'm looking for the Thoth right now. I'm not going to be able to get the blink off because I get put in combat. That is okay. We got to watch out for this Ares ult. You can see he wants to go for it, but he's not actually going to grab anybody. So I'm going to dash myself right on out of that Phoenix. We've got a little bit of a split push pressure over in mid. My blink is coming back up. We're going to wait for these Oni creeps. On these Oni creeps, we're going to push in hard. So I'm going to call for the attack, and I'm going to go in for the blink. Looking at the Thanatos on the side. He's going to come down. I'm going to immediately root him. He's going to go right on down. I'm going to peel into the back lane. Go onto the Bellona. She uses her beat. I'm actually going to continue to chase her now. Throwing down my root. I know she has no beads, no ulti. Also looking at the Thoth. We forced the Thoth beads. We need to make sure that we're actually grabbing this Phoenix. And now we should be able to move in for the Titan. Moving in for the Titan right now. I'm going to start tanking. I've still got my passive up, so I can't actually really die. Just going to mez the Shibalante. I'm not even going to follow up on him. Pop down a shell for my team. Finish up that last kill, and I'm going to tank this all the way to my death for the passive. And we can grab ourselves the Titan here at the end of the game. So for that last item, like I said, it was going to be a Stone of Foul. After that Stone of Foul, or excuse me, instead of that Stone of Foul, you could have also grabbed yourself a Spirit Robe. Would have been fantastic in that situation. This is also the part of the game where we would end up getting our situational items. So maybe you need yourself a Talisman of Energy. Maybe you need yourself a Pestilence, any sort of thing that goes into a Witchblade, just any of those situational items. Spectral armor, always make sure you're keeping those in mind, because those kind of the spot that you're going to be filling a lot of those item slots into, because the rest of the build is actually pretty strict. You almost always end up with that Mail of Renewal and that Thebes because of how strong that combination, guys, is. And that is our Kumbhakarna guide. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.